Hello, 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 folks, and welcome to another episode of Airstreamers, where you never know what stream will ride. Folks, we are in episode 160. No, that's wrong. We're in episode 186. 186. And we are going to have a fun-filled trivia night for y'all. And a couple of things before we get started. If anyone has any issues with our audio, please let us know, because we have been fumbling around for quite some time to try to see if it works. But remember, a couple of times now we've had issues where the audio just stopped working and stuff. So please tell us if it sounds good to your ear holes. Are they being tickled? Are your ear farts, which we still haven't spoken about, working? The audio seems to sound normal. Okay, normal is good. TGIF, I just woke up from a nap. Hi, Bernie Peanut. Hi, Heidi. Howdy, you all, because someone said that. Paul said that earlier. Hi, everybody. Welcome. TGIF.
TGIF
is how I feel.
For real. Yeah, look, Jen commented on my hat. Thanks, Jen.
Super cute, Chris.
I've been really putting it off making this patch. I've wanted to make it because this is one of my favorites. I think it's between this and Judy. Are my two patches. Favoritists. And I eventually did it, and here it is on this here day, but it's on this side, and it's the little turkey monster guy.
The turkey monster?
Yeah, the cookie monster, whatever.
The turkey monster? Who says the turkey monster?
The Big Bird is the turkey monster. This is the cookie monster.
Big Bird is the bird. A bird. I can't even. It's a total eargasm. That's great news, Brian. Thank you. Tell them we can't hear them at random times tonight even when we hear them. Haha, it's Friday the 13th and all. It is Friday the 13th, folks. Creepy. You know, when I was younger, not gonna lie, truth be told, when I was younger, I really did not like Friday the 13th. I used to feel
every Friday the 13th.
Yeah, they're not that often.
I mean, they're often enough.
Yeah. I mean, it's 4 times a year or something? But when I was younger, I mentioned before the creepy stories that my grandparents would tell me and stuff, and the finding the baby in the middle of the highway, dirt road or whatever it was in the middle of the night.
Yeah, that's some psychological trauma.
Yeah, all of those things. I have absolutely been effed up, and I used to really feel uncomfortable about superstitious, supernatural stuff. And so when Friday the 13th would come around, the whole day I would be, okay, what happened? Did it happen yet? What's going to happen? And yeah, so imagine if the Predator story landed on Friday the 13th.
Oh, that would be a disaster. A total disaster.
So they all know my Predator story, right? Yeah.
I think so. I think everybody knows.
Yeah, tell me if you know, if you remember my Predator. You don't have to recite it, but does the Predator story sound? By the way, not real life human Predator, the Predator, the TV show,
the one with the little
yeah,
that thing.
Yeah, the little this thing.
That I never watched those movies until I met you, and you brought me into the fold for your plan to fight him when he comes back.
Yeah.
But
we actually still never watched it.
No, I think I watched it. I think we watched it once.
I love Arnold.
Oh, yeah, he's the best. Kathy asked if there's a way to see if she's subbed for more than 6 months. And I think the answer is yes, because I see the little 12 paw print next to her name, so she's got to have 12 months, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think.
Yeah, that's what that means. Look, if you hover over Kathy, it says, 13th. Is it Kathy who said it?
Yeah.
13th month subscriber, 1 year badge.
Oh, 6 additional months, if she earlier subbed. That I don't know.
Oh, I don't know the answer to that. I actually don't know the answer to that. Interesting. No one is responding as to whether they know my Predator story or not, so I'm surprised. Have I kept that from everyone?
I told you the story of Nightmare on Elm Street that I watched at my friend's house.
Yes, I think so. Why don't we share some of these stories?
Okay. Mine is kind of uneventful, but I It's not like yours where you like fought the predator.
No, I
mine
didn't fight the predator. Yeah, Deb said I don't remember that story. I'll share it.
Okay,
I'll
well,
share it.
strap in, folks. You're ready for a ride.
It's really not that exciting.
No, I did not like scary movies as a kid. Now I'm like, I don't care. I just don't want to see gore. But I went to a friend's house to sleep over, his grandma's house, and this was not on Friday the 13th. It might have been. I don't know. But we watched Nightmare on Elm Street. That's the Freddy Krueger movie. Mm-hmm. And I was terrified. His skin creeped me out. The knife fingers creeped me out. Him opening the house and looking in creeped me out. It was terrible.
The sleep moment.
Yeah. And then, of course, we go to sleep, and he's at his grandma's house, so it's not like we're going to sleep in his room. So his grandma had, like, 2 rooms. And so he went and he slept in like one of the bedrooms, and then I slept in the other like guest bedroom that was like full of porcelain dolls.
Oh no!
Yeah, no,
Chris.
that was. I'm still processing.
How old were you?
I'm still working through that. It was before I moved like to our new house, and so I was.
What do you mean?
I was like less than. I moved when I was.
Oh, okay, yeah. I thought you meant we, and I'm like, did this happen to you like a year ago? I'm like, what? Why are you waiting till now to share the story with me? You said we.
When my family moved to the new house, so I would have been probably like I would say 8.
Not the time for you to be watching that movie.
7 or 8.
Do you remember the scene with the sleep, with the dream?
Jen said, so get Chris porcelain dolls for Christmas. Got it?
Yes, exactly. Do you know
why are they so freaking creepy?
Well, I did mention to you all.
And they were like covered in dust. Like grandma was not doing the work.
That's unusual. If someone has dolls out in such a capacity, I imagine they're there because they want folks to see the dolls.
Listen, I'm also probably looking at this. This is now 30 years ago. Looking at it through my mind's eye and terrified of the movie. So I'm gay. I'm gonna, bend the truth a little bit. Although they were porcelain dolls and they were lined.
I'm sure. But my point is...
And I think there was a crib in the room, if I remember.
No!
I think there was a crib in the room.
No,
maybe
you're out. That's it. You do not sleep in that room unless there is a baby child in that crib that someone has recently birthed and is in the crib, and you're also, someone else is in there taking care of the said child. That is a absolutely hard stop. No, you do not stay in the room.
I know. I didn't have a
Rule
choice,
number
though.
1.
What am I going to do?
Go out, leave. Go
you know how stubborn I am. I was just as stubborn back then as I am now. I'm like, oh, fine. If this is how I'm going to die, I'm going to be mad dying, and I'm going to be scared, and it's going to be terrible, but so be it.
I am shook, Chris. You slept in a room with porcelain dolls that were dusty and a crib after watching Nightmare on Elm Street.
I think there was a crib. And it was like, there were like doilies everywhere. It was very much
there were
like,
doilies
everywhere. It was very much how you would imagine.
Probably some sort of like felt, like place. I don't know what they're called. Like a runner that you would put on the shelves that they would go onto with little golden tassels that maybe like fall and dangle off the edge.
Oh yeah, the booby tassels, the nipple tassels.
Yes, those ones are there. I definitely see all the porcelain dolls. I'm sure some of the porcelain dolls had veil coverings.
Lampshades with like
the fringe that goes like
lampshade
like
with
this.
the very opulent like bronze base that's like 6 million pounds, and then. The creaky doors, the Persian rug in the middle of the hardwood floor.
Yes, Helen said that someone has recently birthed, quote. I am really, Chris, horrified for you. Jen, speaking of baby child, do you have your new niece? Your new
unique New
niece?
York. Unique New York.
Sue's in the hospital. We will find out info as soon as we get it. She's had a long time though.
Well, they don't call it labor for nothing.
You know, when I was younger,
What are
I
they-
used to think that labor was, when we talked about how long labor was, and my mom will say stories of like, I was in labor for 48 hours with you and you blah, blah, blah.
I never
still hate you.
understood that until I think recently.
Me too. I always thought it was the act, the very deliberate act of pushing for 48 hours.
Yeah. Oh, Elias, we're the same person, and we have no idea what world we live in.
Absolutely not.
Literally,
at all.
this happens to 50% of like this happens to women all the time.
Yeah.
And we're just like, I thought it was like the sweat's pouring.
the whole time. That's what I thought.
I don't think that's how it happens. though.
No, absolutely not. Especially now that we're learning more about what she's going through. I'm telling you, I've learned a lot, and it is certainly not a constant 48-hour push.
I don't know, like, if I was a difficult child. I don't know if I was a difficult birth or not.
Yeah, I don't know. I think, to be honest, I think my quick version of it is my mom said my brother was really long and then I was quick or something, or one of the two versions happened.
Pete paved
So,
the way for you, so.
Yeah, everyone is talking about all the horror movies that they've watched growing up and what constitutes horror. The movie, horrifying, the original one.
Oh, you know what?
Especially.
One I really hated was Candyman.
Yep, couldn't do it. I told
It
you a
was
story
the
with
bees,
that too, where I was in
right?
my room.
The bees. That's the one on like the bee's knees, the Candyman, and then
Some bee in my tea, honey bee in my tea.
honey bee in my tea.
Yeah, that was a gold moment on
And
the podcast.
when he is like, you have to say his name in the mirror or whatever.
Nope. Absolutely not.
You know how when you like in your brain, say you're like carrying a knife and you're like, oh my God, I can't trip down these stairs. And we've talked about this, where your brain is sort of deliberately telling you don't do something.
if you're
because it's
driving down
dangerous.
the highway and there's the divider, your brain might remind you, hey, what might it be like if I hit that divider right now? If I just slam right into it? What if I just turn
That is
right into
a
it?
psychological thing, right? For sure, we're not just crazy.
I read that it's a real thing that
think
our
it's a real
brains do
thing.
it so that we do not do it. We
Okay,
do not
well,
choose to do that.
my brain very regularly would be like brushing your teeth in the mirror, like, don't say Candyman, don't say Candyman, because I didn't
Yeah.
want. It was terrifying as a kid.
Yeah.
Terrifying.
So, I'm just reading up on some of these comments, and everyone is talking about how they do not like scary movies, which is my people. OG Steve said that horror is good in the right context. I do agree a lot with that. There are moments where I genuinely like the thrill and feeling of like cuddling up and like having a pillow over my face and like what's going to happen. I don't like gore in profuse amounts. I don't like violent, like unnecessary violence, like where it's like what's the word, like slasher stuff or whatever. I like psychologically creepy stuff. A movie that I can reference is the movie Orphan, which is terrifying. Absolutely
like,
terrifying.
What's the one where she's like, Nicole Kidman? What's her?
Yeah, I referenced this.
Yeah, when she's like, I'll never tell.
yeah, it's the
Or no,
others.
she's like- Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
the
the others. Or no, wait. No, she's the one when she's like, I am your
not-
daughter.
I am your daughter.
Yeah, where she looks like Michael
Yeah,
Jackson
yeah,
in that.
Yeah, I'm clipping that, but I already did that before.
I know,
we gotta
but it's
provide
just
more
so
content,
freaking
Chris.
good. You know what?
OG Steve, my brother's favorites are Evil Dead as well too. You got to talk to Pete about that. Speaking of, folks, we are going to be recording a podcast on Friday this upcoming week, and we officially it's in the books with OG Steve and Star Wars. So
Wait,
just keep that in
JJG
mind.
said that her husband went to get Taco Bell while I was in labor. Wow. Wait,
That
did he
is-
bring back to you at least, or because
That's how I'm. If he did not,
If
that
he
is not
didn't,
okay.
then
Absolutely not okay. Horror movies are my fave, said Tiffany. And Helen said, don't say a word. OG Steve, Elias, you need to go watch those movies with Pete. They're horror, but they're awesome. It was Brittany Murphy was for Don't Say a Word. I remember that movie. And
I thought you were going to
drawing a
reference
blank.
Get Out as a
Well,
psychological
yes, Get Out
thing.
is, of course, a top-tier
That's
psychological movie.
really good.
Now, leading back to early 80s-ish stuff with The Predator, let me tell you my story of what happened. And I feel like I shared this once before early on in the
Well,
stream,
we might
perhaps,
have
but
some
whatever.
new folks.
Yeah, I'm going to share it again, and you're going to listen and enjoy it. I'm with you all, by the way, before I get started on this, that I'm very much a cover my eyes type of person. And I also do not like sleeping when I'm alone. Like now, of course, when Chris is here, it's like a whole different story. But
What about when I used to travel?
no,
work?
I hated it. Or when I was younger and I watched Blair Witch and I pretended that it did not affect me when I was at the movie theaters with all my friends because I wanted to look cool. And then I got home and my family was away in Greece, I think, and I was the only one there, and I nearly just
Oh,
pooped my
you were
pants.
home alone?
Well, for the moment I was home alone. Like Pete was in Jersey, I was just home alone in that moment.
Like he was at school
He was
or
at school,
working.
yeah, whatever. And my parents were not there. Or however, it worked itself out. I actually disagree, Steve. I think Blair Witch aged very well, and I think that, my opinion, of course, that I think that
I never watched it. We just watched it
Yeah,
recently,
and we were
I
both
watched
very
it for the
creeped
first
out.
time.
We
but
were
then
very
I
creeped
think they
out.
made like Blair Witch Part 2, and then I think that was bad.
Yeah, because I think what they did is they pretended that it no longer. Well, they went away from pretending that it's a real life documentary, that it's real found footage, and I think part of the excitement of watching it when we were all younger, before pre-internet era, was that this footage was all filmed on a camera, and so therefore, is this the actual real footage we're looking at of these events? Because if so, holy McMoly. But the fact that it ended up being not that, and it was just like, it sort of created the found footage style of movie making.
Helen said, "The Ring plagued my childhood. I was having a sleepover
Oh, that
night
movie too.
and ended up coughing and had a panic attack because I thought I was going to cough up the hospital thing that the character did. What
Yeah.
did they do? What did they cough up? I forget.
I don't remember, but I know what you're talking about. I did not like.
hair
I liked
and the
Ring,
crawling
but-
out
oh,
of
I
the
can't.
yeah. That's an iconic.
7 definitely gave me nightmares from the big time. I did not like 7 either, even though I actually will rephrase and say I really like 7. I can't watch it ever again. I mean, it's just done. I know
don't
what it's
think I
about.
watched it.
You know, no, I'm gonna. I invited you over to my house to watch it because at the time I thought you were eclectic with your movie watching and entertainment watching because I thought you knew stuff. And so I invited you over to watch 7, which why? And you were sleeping.
That ship has sailed.
You were in, at the time, my brother and I were still living at my parents' house. And there was a brief point where like I was switching over into my brother's room as he was moving out. So we were in my brother's room. You were on that bed.
Mm-hmm.
We were watching, and I was not on the bed. I was like next to you on the chair, kind of like doing the thing I do now where like as you're falling asleep, I'm like, are you falling asleep? And you're like, no. And I'm like, but you're falling asleep, you know?
Well, I guess 7 wasn't really that scary because I fell
And-
asleep during it.
And then I'm waiting for the big reveal. Now, folks, if you don't know the movie 7, I'm not going to spoil it for you because I still think it's such a good story. So there's a big moment at the end where someone reveals something in a box, and I'm waiting I'm like, yes, this is the part. And I'm like, no reaction. And I look over, and I'm like, oh my God, he's asleep. I'm like, Jesus.
Well,
holy
I
McMoly.
grew out of the fear of the horror movies, I guess.
I guess, but did not grow up and were able to set up to watch a movie at night.
That I did not.
Yeah.
I still
Hysterical.
haven't cracked that nut.
Um,
Oh, hey, Jody. Jody is lizarding on the beach, and she's had wonderful weather.
yeah, it looks amazing.
Yeah, she's super lucky. And
Oh, The Mummy. I like The Mummy. I can understand that being a scary movie, but I really, really like The Mummy. I
wasn't there
wouldn't consider
somebody who
7
watches The Mummy like every day?
What? Is someone you know?
I thought there was someone who like I know that there was a person who there was a story where someone ate a Big Mac every day for his entire life. Sounds like he's living the dream.
Yeah.
And there was another person, I thought that was somebody who we didn't know. That was just an article I read, but that's
Okay.
a fascinating, or that's a real big accomplishment.
Mm.
The other, maybe lesser accomplishment, I think, is someone who we knew, who literally watched The Mummy
Who are you
every
talking
single day.
about? You got to look that up.
I'm
you need
pretty
to
sure.
figure
I
that
can't
out.
remember who it is, but like somebody in our like circle of friends?
I rewatched District 9 this week. Such an awesome movie that needs a sequel, said OG Steve. And Crymar said I got weirded out watching The Descent. Oh, that movie. I definitely have claustrophobia, and I felt really uncomfortable. Oh my God, when they were in the tunnels. Mm-mm.
I don't think I saw that one.
You did. We watched it together downstairs.
In this house?
In this house.
Okay, well, look, Elias.
It's the movie where they descend, they're on a mountain climbing thing and they find the tunnel and they do that like cave diving stuff or whatever. And then it just, the place starts closing in on them. And then it gets real weird. I didn't really like where it goes. They like basically descended into like hell, which was really weird. But the scenes of them going through the tunnels and the rocks closing in on them, no, thank you.
Oh, that doesn't sound like
Absolutely.
the movie I would like. I probably
No,
fell asleep during that
thank
one
you.
too.
No, thank you, ma'am.
Hey, adventurist.
Hello. And what about Centipede? Like Human Centipede? Because that's an absolute not ever. I would never, ever, ever, ever. But Centipede, I don't know what that is.
I don't know.
But
I thought Centipede was a video game.
That's what I thought. I need to tell you about 2 stories.
Did you tell your Predator story yet?
That's the main one. But the thing with I just read Heidi's comment about Hellraiser had the best makeup. I did mention this story recently where I was in a house that was in the middle of the woods in Greece. My aunt Ellie's house. You've never been to it, and my cousins were all watching, and I was the one who prevented anyone.
The one
from
who
ever
lives
doing
in
anything.
Muzaki.
Yeah, now she used to live in what's the name of it? Oh, Befkofito. Tiny little village. And I've mentioned
by the restaurant that we went to that was fabulous.
the other way. Like if you go down that way and then veer like a fork in the road, just go off into the distance into nowhere and you'll come across this town. And my aunt had a very, very wealthy looking house, like as in they weren't really all that wealthy, but I guess they were able to build a very nice.
She did well with what she had.
What's the word I'm looking for? Like, it's not opulent. It wasn't opulent. It was very like. Anyway, I prevented my family
Craftsman
from ever doing anything fun because I was the baby of the group and I would always complain that it's too scary, too this, too that. I didn't like it. And they were all determined to watch Hellraiser and I refused to watch. And I was sleeping in the one room where the one TV was, which was in the living room. That's where we were sleeping. I was sleeping and I woke up in the middle of the night. And I just opened my eyes little by little, and I look and I see my cousin next to me, my other cousin, my other cousin, my other cousin. They're all sort of around. My brother's there. And I'm like, what's going on? What's everyone doing? And then I follow my eyes to the TV at the scene where the Hellraiser man with the razors, the things is in his face.
Yeah, doesn't he have pins?
Yeah, Pinhead in his face. And I just opened my eyes. I shut them and I pretended like I went back to sleep, like I forced myself back to sleep. No one even knows that I was awake during this time, but that moment they will never understand how much they ruined me. They will never understand how much they ruined me. So,
much so that you haven't buried that memory now.
No.
30 years later.
No, it's real. I remember the wood of the bed, the very, very coarse, thick, blanket that my aunt.
At least they didn't pile porcelain dolls on top of you while you were sleeping and just wake up in a pile of dolls.
Terrifying. Which, speaking of dolls, the thing with my first house in Secaucus that we built when they deconstruct or they disassembled. What's the word? Destroyed.
Demolished?
Demolished. When they demolished the house.
A deconstructed house? What is this? Like,
take the 4x4s out separately and just kind of
like
put them aside.
That's the new fad in cooking, a deconstructed house.
Exactly. And so the very first house that we bought to build, my dad being the construction worker that he was, we built the house. We destroyed the house. And before we went in to do that, the woman died in the house. The corpse was in the house for a week or two.
When you went in?
No, I've told this story before. I basically was on the outside. I was never allowed in, but I was able to see while they were inside that the mailbox was stuffed to the gills with stuff in it.
Oh, the mailman always knows first.
And then
And they're like, oh, God, I don't want to, like, they're like, I don't want to fill out the paperwork.
so I'm just gonna stuff more. The grass was like waist height, you know, and when it was finally like, I guess it was at the time when they were investigating like whether or not they were going to build it or buy it or whatever. I don't think my family ever saw, or my dad ever saw the body in there, but they walked up the flight of stairs and turned. And what I do remember is looking up at the flight of stairs, the entire like stairwell had dolls in it, and when my dad said when they turned into the house, every available surface had dolls all over the house, and the
I'll
woman
never get
died.
it. I'll never understand it.
The woman was dead in the living room for nearly 2 weeks, sitting there rotting as a corpse until the neighbor started questioning it, and like, you know, the mailbox full was not the 2 weeks. It was like
What was
however
getting
long.
delivered so much? Was it like doll clothes?
No, back then that was like where you got all of your like TV guides and coupons and things. Are we broken?